Hey guys, it's Nami from NamiT.com. How are you? We're just going to wait a couple of minutes to see if anybody else is going to join us. We've got some people here from Sydney, some people from Melbourne, and a couple of people from Adelaide. So, welcome, guys. As I said, look, this is going to be a really casual webinar. I know times are tough right now, so wanted to give you guys some really helpful hints and tips on how to move forward during this time. And also, if any of you guys that are joining me live right now have got any questions that you want to have answered, please type it down below. I will definitely make sure I get to it by the end of the webinar. You guys that are on, can you just type and let me know if you can hear me, and then we might just get going. Okay, perfect. All right, excellent. So I'm trying to get it a little bit lighter. I've got told I'm coming across too dark. Let me see if that's a little bit better. I do apologize. I am doing this from home today as opposed to my office for obvious reasons. So guys, look, I'm going to get started. As I said, my name is Nami from NamiT.com. I am the founder of the Resume and the Interview Advantage. I'm also an Amazon #1 bestseller of Are You Prepared? A quick guide to helping you get prepared for interviews and get yourself interview ready. As we all know, look, it's a tough time right now with the COVID-19 virus. People are unsure of where their jobs are at. Some of you are currently unemployed. Unfortunately, some of you have also been let go. But guys, this is a temporary measure. This will pass. When will it pass? Unfortunately, we don't know, but it will pass. And so my job today, or what I want to help you guys do today, is to help you get prepared for when hiring is up and running, when things kick back into full swing, and also to kind of let you know the changes in the job market that's happening at the moment, purely because of the COVID-19 virus. So I guess, look, first things first, what I wanted to say is a lot of people have been saying to me, we can't, is now the time to be job searching? Are there even jobs out there at the moment? Is there any point in even, doing our resumes? What should you be doing? And I guess that's the first thing I really wanted to address with you guys. The traditional look, there's a lot of jobs out there, yes, that have been made redundant. Obviously, a lot of employers have stopped hiring. But in saying that, there's a lot of industries out there, guys, that are now currently looking for people and are actively looking for people because they're moving along with what's happening with the COVID-19 virus. So industries such as supermarkets, some retail, obviously government bodies are picking up. They've got a lot of jobs going at the moment, and call centers for obvious reasons. So look, now is the perfect time for you guys to get job ready, to get yourself going. Why? Because most of us are working from home at the moment, or unfortunately, if you're finding yourself without a role at the moment, you're still at home. We all spend a lot of our time saying we're too busy. We don't have enough time to spend with our family. We don't have enough time to upskill ourselves. We don't have enough time to do our resumes, our LinkedIn profile, let alone even looking at interviews and how do we even prepare for interviews. So yes, guys, get your essentials in check first. So, look after yourself, look after your well-being, spend time with your family, do all of that. But then start upskilling yourself. So if you've always wanted to jump on and do an extra course, now is the perfect time to be doing that. If you've always wanted to do your resume, what better time to jump on, look at your job history, look at the things that you've been doing. And I've got a Resume Advantage template, which I will send out to all of you who joined and anyone that puts comments below that would like to receive this resume template as well. I will definitely be sending that across to you guys as well. So that'll tell you exactly the step-by-step measures that you should be putting in your resume. You know, what kind of analytics you should be putting in there. How do you sell yourself above everybody else? Because yes, that's another question that came across, is with all the people that have lost their jobs, there's obviously a lot more people that are now available to work and will be going for the same roles as you guys. So how do you stand out for the competition? And that's something that I'll be addressing a little bit later on in this webinar as well. You know, the other thing I'd like to say to you guys before I keep going is, during this kind of tumultuous time where we're all sitting at home, and it's a great time to relax and catch up, but I guess in terms of your mindset, guys, you can either come out of this in one of two ways. You can come out of it, you know, have in a very negative, oh my God, doom and gloom, and nothing's going to happen. Nobody's hiring. Nobody's reaching out to me. There's nothing out there, and go into a negative downward spiral. And then when you come out the other end of it, unfortunately, you're going to be behind the eight ball in terms of actually getting a job and being in the interview process. Or you can develop a bit more of a positive mindset, and kind of sit there and go, okay, you know, what did I do to get myself job ready? Am I going to be ahead of the competition? Am I going to, you know, do I know what companies I want to start working for when this is over? Do I know what industries I want to go for? And, you know, in saying that, guys, a lot of you, or there's some of you on here that I've spoken to in the past that have spoken about career transition, but have obviously been too busy at work to be able to do that career transition and understand what's going to be involved in transitioning your career and stuff as well. So this is also a really great time to take a step back and really look at your career as it's been and as you'd like it to go forward, and really understand, is it my career that I don't like, or is it my current company, or is it the job? And if it is your career, then look at your jobs and your past careers and go, what is it in my jobs, and what is it in my careers that I have actually enjoyed doing? And guys, for those of you who are international students, or even people from overseas that are joining us today, and if you're looking at it going, look, I don't know what I want to do, but I know that I enjoy A, B, C, D. Oh, there's my son crawling across in the background. You know, sorry, but I enjoyed doing A, B, C, D at college, at uni. I was part of these volunteer groups, and I really enjoyed doing these skill sets, whether it be project managing, etc., etc. So then let's start looking at that and putting that into your CVs, but looking at, okay, what jobs are out there, whether they be now, whether they be, you know, once this whole thing finishes, what jobs are out there that I can transfer these skills, these aspects of my jobs that I really enjoy, so that going forward, I can, you know, I can really go into my next phase of my career, next phase of the job cycle, into a job that I really thoroughly enjoy. So I guess, guys, what I'm trying to say is, this downtime, we don't know how long it's going to last, like I keep saying, but it's not indefinite. This is going to pass. One thing I can say, and, you know, this is probably another one of the questions that I've been asked, but I think one of the good things that's going to come out of this is, one of the big pushes in Australia has been, we want that work-life flexibility, where unfortunately a lot of companies have stood back and said, look, we can't, your role is crucial, you have to be in the office, you know, we can't have that work from home flexibility. And unfortunately, or fortunately, what this COVID-19 virus has taught us is that a lot of those companies and a lot of those industries can actually start incorporating a lot more of that work from home, and that lifestyle kind of balance that the industry and Australia as a whole has been moving towards. So there are some positives that are actually coming out of this COVID-19 virus. As much as, it is what it is, and we're all, facing a different phase of life at the moment. So look, the three strategies that I kind of wanted to, I guess, bring across to you guys to help you move forward in these times. There's three strategies. One of them is, guys, now we need to eliminate the negative thinking that is happening. And I know I keep harping on about this, and promise I'll try and make this the last time I say this, but if you go into that negative thinking of it's gloom and doom, there's no companies hiring right now, look at all the people that have been let go. Look, I've got friends, I've got colleagues that have been let go from their jobs. Who's going to hire me? That person's more skilled than me, etc., etc., etc. If you're going to kind of dwell in that negative thinking, then unfortunately, once this is all done and dusted, you're not going to be in a better position than you are right now. And in fact, you may even find yourself in a worse position than you currently are now, because there'll be a lot of people who are using this time to move into a positive mindset, a positive thinking. And like I said, they're upskilling themselves. So I had somebody contact me earlier and saying that as a project manager, they've always wanted to upskill themselves in a certain software. So they've now enrolled themselves in an online course to do that. And that's what I'm suggesting to you guys as well, whether it's, get your resume going, get your LinkedIn profile. What a fantastic time for you guys to get your LinkedIn profile going. I'll be releasing a course on LinkedIn shortly to actually help you guys get your LinkedIn profile succinct and eye-catching, so you're going to get noticed. So get your LinkedIn profile going. And guys, even with interviews, you don't need to have an interview coming up for you guys to start practicing. In fact, practicing interviews and interview questions should be a daily practice, even if it's 5 to 10 minutes. So then once you start the interview process, it comes more naturally. I mean, the interview in itself is a very stressful thing for a lot of people, and leaving your interview prep till the last minute can also be quite stressful. So that's kind of my first strategy. Let's eliminate the negative thinking, whether that's through meditation or however it is that you guys need to do that. And let's move into more of a positive mindset, positive frame of mind. The second one, job search strategy for you guys, you need to create an attractive and compelling resume. I do harp on about this a lot, but for most of you guys out there, that is how you first get noticed. That is your initial selling point to your prospective employer. So if you do not have an attractive and compelling resume, guys, you are not going to be able to stand out from your competition. Now, don't get me wrong, your resume is not the be-all and end-all, but it is the second step in the job process. The first step is obviously applying for the job and finding the job that you want to apply for, right? So the second step, and this is your employer's first impression of you guys. So you want it to be perfect. You want it to be eye-catching. You want them to go, yes, this is somebody that I want to bring in from, X, Y, and Z. I want to bring them in for an interview. I want to have an initial phone interview or a video interview or whatever it is. So that is key, guys, for yourselves. And then that kind of moves me on to my third strategy, which is what I kind of touched on earlier. Practice your interview questions and techniques daily. Great way to do that is you can either do it with yourself or, jump on the phone, jump on a Skype or a video Zoom call right now with people, and just do a mock interview with someone. Ask them to ask you questions, ask them to give you feedback, and vice versa. Another kind of touching point on that is, guys, obviously with a lot of people working from home nowadays, including prospective interviews, the recruitment industry is not dead. It's a lot slower than what it used to be. And I guess the non-essential roles are not being recruited for right now, but recruitment is happening. Employers are still hiring, guys, whether it be that they're starting you off in a work from home situation to then bring you into the office when that starts up later on. That's still to be seen, but employers are still hiring. It's just not going to be the traditional form, which was first phone interview, second video interview, third come into the office. Now, obviously, they are doing all three of them in one. So it'll all be a video interview. So you want to get your video interviewing skill set down perfect. Yeah, and what better way to do it than now when you're at home, technology is there, you're being forced to do video calls with people. So, get comfortable with kind of looking at yourself or looking at somebody else and talking to them, and body language and all of that, because when they're interviewing you, they're still looking at all of that. It's just not in the traditional face-to-face as we know it. Everything is being done through video conferencing. So, guys, I kind of want to get on to a few questions that have been asked from me by people on Instagram, and I've got a couple of people on here that are asking questions as well. So keep your questions coming. I'll be sure to answer them, and then, like I said, pop any more questions you have down below if you think of something after this, and I'll be sure to get back to you guys on that as well. So one of the questions that I had earlier was, I have an upcoming interview, but how do I address the COVID-19 virus with them? Such a great question right now. And guys, my tip to that is, you don't need to tiptoe around it, but also don't make it the focus of the conversation, because like I said, you don't want it for you to come across them as being negative and being dwelling on the interview process and COVID-19 and how is COVID. You still want to be seen as coming across as positive. So I would suggest go into them, hi, how are you? And obviously you will have a bit of chit chat at the moment. Just say to them, look, how has COVID-19 virus affected yourselves? What does that mean for the company? What does that mean for the position that I'm applying for? Even ask some really simple questions as, is this position available immediately, or is this something you're hiring for post COVID-19 virus? And if this is something you're hiring for now, will I start and stay at home? As in, is it a work from home position? Or is this something that is starting off as a work from home position, but then has a flexibility later on that you'll be moving me into the office as and when we start moving back into the office? So I would suggest that would be the best way forward for you guys to answer and to address, I guess, the elephant in the room, which is the COVID-19 virus. I have another question, which was, is it worth looking for, or is there really any point to doing a job search? Great question. As I said earlier, look, non-essential roles are not being hired for. But absolutely, there's still a lot of job search. There's still a lot of roles out there, guys. If you go on Seek, you go on Indeed, you go, on your careers websites, people are still looking. People are still hiring. It's just might not move as fast as what it used to. But that is another thing that you can ask them in the job interview. You can just say, look, are you hiring this now and then? Will you kind of offer me and then put it on hold, as I said earlier, or what's the situation? But people are still hiring. Or in the same point, if you've noticed prior to this that there was a role that someone was advertising for, but they've now kind of put it on hold, it's a great time to go through previous job ads, for you guys to get those keywords out of them that people are looking for and insert them into your resume and get your resume job ready. So yes, even though there's some hiring and recruiting that's going on hold, guys, you should absolutely be quite proactive in your job search and getting yourself job ready for when that role is ready to go. And my suggestion is actually spending maybe about 20 to 30 minutes a day spending time doing your job research, going through past, as I said, past ads. Look on LinkedIn. There's a lot of chatter on LinkedIn right now, and it's a great time to get noticed by prospective employers because they're all talking about how their work is shifting, how the roles are shifting, how the industry is shifting. It's also a great time to research on prospective companies that you want to go work for once they are up and hiring. Or even companies and industries right now that are hiring. So absolutely, please keep up the job search and keep being quite proactive on your job search. Another kind of question that followed on from that was, how do I network with potential new employers, especially given the situation? Guys, great idea and great question. And like I said, the way I would do it is there's a lot of employers right now that are posting questions out there because employers, managers, they're trying to remain positive and upbeat in this environment. They want to be seen as their company, not kind of folding down because something is happening, but really being proactive about what's happening out there. So join in the conversation, contribute to any articles that are coming out. Share industry knowledge. So if you come across an article on LinkedIn, for example, and you're like, wow, that's great information, share that on your LinkedIn profile because it will get picked up. People will start noticing, and that's how you stand up above your competition. Also, if you've got hiring managers or CEOs, etc., that are posting questions out there, then guys, make relevant comments to that because unlike in the past where people have been too busy to write back or too busy to comment, they are now commenting and they're answering back. So there's a lot of interaction happening on LinkedIn. So I really hope for those of you that are joining me live and those of you that are going to watch this replay that you are, at least for starters, you are on LinkedIn. And then if you need help with LinkedIn, then I've got like I said, I've got a course coming up which will show you how to optimize your LinkedIn profile and get you moving. But at least in the first instant, get yourself on LinkedIn, start adding relevant networks, relevant connections, and always make sure, guys, probably a fundamental thing of LinkedIn, which I do sometimes forget to do, but a fundamental thing is just to write them a quick note about why you're reaching out to them and why you would love to connect with them. Another one was, I've just been let go due to the COVID-19 virus. How do I pick myself up and motivate myself during these times, knowing that I might get rejections? My answer to that, guys, is do not go into a job search and job applications with a negative frame of mind. It is a very tough time right now, and even in the best of circumstances, when you've been let go from your job for whatever reason, it's tough. It's mentally and emotionally tough. So you need to deal with those feelings first and come to grips with, okay, I was let go. And in this situation, I was let go not through to anything to myself, but just because the company cannot sustain me right now. And once you've dealt with those emotions and you've gotten yourself into more positive frame of mind, then start from the very beginning. Do it step by step. Go for a job that you want to do, what you want to do. Get your resume going. Apply. Make sure you write a cover letter to support your resume, guys. And then start the job process. And yes, look, unfortunately, there will be some people that don't get back to you immediately. That may not be an immediate reflection on you. It could just be because they're not in any hurry to get back to you because, as I said, hiring is slow at the moment. Or unfortunately, as does happen, people just don't get back to you. But the key in that is, guys, do not take it personally. I know it's hard when you send out application after application after application and resume after resume after resume, and you hear nothing back. It is disheartening, and I wish it didn't happen, but unfortunately it does. My takeaway point to you guys is do not take it personally. It's not against you. It's just that, unfortunately, recruiters and employers do get a lot of people sometimes applying for one job and they just haven't gotten around to getting back to you. So please do not take it to heart. What I would say is if there is a deadline and they say, apply by 5 p.m. on Friday, and if you haven't heard anything back after a week or so, then maybe reach out to the hiring manager and say, hi, I haven't heard. Can you let me know what the next process is? That puts you kind of front of mind as well and shows that you're proactive. But at the same point, you're not hassling the manager. And I guess if you haven't heard back after that, then it's probably time to cut your losses and move on to the next opportunity. And in saying that as well, guys, I would say that the same applies for interviews. It's disheartening when you don't hear anything back from resumes, but when you don't hear anything back from interviews, it's even more disheartening because I know that you're preparing for it, you think you've aced it, and you come back and there's no feedback, so you don't actually know where to go from there. As I always say to you guys, always follow up, and I say this to all my clients, make sure you follow up with a thank you email after your interview, so at least you are still fresh in their mind, you're still, up there. But if they don't get back to you, say after a week, even though they've let you know that, we will get back to you after 1 week to let you know what the next steps are. Once again, contact them, ask them what's happening. If you don't hear from them again, guys, cut your losses and move on. I always say you're better to just keep interviewing and interviewing and interviewing. And until you actually sign on the dotted line, you don't have a job. So keep going. It's best to keep interviewing, even if you get multiple job offers. Fantastic, guys. What better way to be than be wanted and have lots of job offers than put all your eggs in one basket with one job interview and then get disheartened and then you'll be back to the start again. I guess this one was interesting. Somebody wrote back saying, should I only apply to jobs that say you will be working from home given the current situation? Guys, as I addressed this before, this landscape of the Australian industry is going to change because of what's happened. So a lot of jobs that used to believe that you need to purely work from home, purely be in the office, have now had to resort to a working from home situation. So even though right now it might be a working from home situation, going forward, once all of this is cleared up, you might go back into the office. So if you're looking for something where you need to be working in an office and you want to be in a team environment and an environment where you've got people buzzing around you, then I think you should still apply for any jobs that are out there that are relevant to you and your skill set, because even though it says working from home now, you just don't know what the future holds. And as I said, the good thing about it is the whole working from home situation means that job flexibility and work-life balance is going to become a more front of focus for everybody, as opposed to something that was I wish that was something we could do, but you need to be in the office for this. Another lady wrote to me, I urgently need a job. Should I be putting myself forward to call centers, even though I used to be a retail manager? I feel like it's a step back. What should I do? For me, guys, I believe you're talking about transferring your skills, and also you got to get your mindset right. If you're going into it or applying for a job going, oh, you know, I'm better than this job, or I can do better than this job, then unfortunately, even if you do get the job, you're not going to be satisfied. You're going to be depressed. And that's not going to be good for you or the employer at this point in time. So what I would say is look at the transferable skills. You used to be a retail manager and you're looking to move into a call center. It's still customer service based. It's still customer interaction based. You're just doing it from, I guess, a work from home or a work from a call center situation, as opposed to physically seeing someone one-to-one. So look at your transferable skill sets that you can bring from being a retail manager across to the call center. Look at what aspects of the retail role did you enjoy, but also in the job ad that these guys have said, what parts of working in a call center could you possibly, could you tie in and go, oh yeah, we did that in retail. That was something I really enjoy. And then use those transferable skills and make sure you highlight those transferable skills in your resume when you're applying for that job. But I think first thing is first, you need to change your mindset from it's a step backwards to, look, it's a side step. Being in a call center has many facets. There's managerial, there's executive levels. It's a different kind of hierarchy to the retail level, but it is still, there's still opportunities to grow and there's still opportunities to make your mark in there. Let me just see what you guys have written. Some companies are struggling with how to onboard new starters during this time. Any recommendations? Look, great questions. Onboarding is another tough one at the moment because, as I said, you're moving from the office environment to the work environment, or some people are actually recruiting to work in the office at the moment, which I think is a lot tougher for companies to tackle because the mandate at the moment is stay at home unless essential. And, we've all got a heed health warning. So as a prospective client, what I'd be saying to your employees and you guys out there that are applying for jobs, take heed of this as well. During the initial conversation that you're going to have with the employee, be upfront about what you're expecting from them. If you're expecting them to come into the office, then lay out what the office is going to be like, because even the office environment is changing. And it's not the same friendly, happy, hey, let's give each other a hug, let's go for coffee, let's go for drinks after work, which is kind of the traditional office environment. So it's, even if you sound like you might come across as a negative Nancy as an employer, I think it's best to lay it out and go, look, once in this office is normally 15 people, but currently there's only 5 people working. It's obviously social distancing and we're doing the right things by you guys. And hopefully once things pass, then, things will be back to normal and we can start up the normal things that happen in our company, which is whether it's, going to lunch, Friday night drinks, whatever it is that you guys do. So I think it's important to let them know what you guys would normally do if situations were normal, and unfortunately how things are happening at the moment. Sorry, another question that I got asked, which might be relevant for a lot of you guys, is how will the virus change recruiting? Recruiting's not going to change in the sense of what companies, what hiring managers, what recruiters are looking for. We're still looking and they're still looking for, when they look at your CV, are you going to be the right fit for the job? Do you match the criteria that they've kind of outlined in their job description or their advertisement? Are you going to be a cultural fit for the company? And they'll be able to ascertain that from what you've put in your CV, but also what you've put in your cover letter. And that's why I said to you guys, it is quite key that you guys nail your CV and you nail your cover letter, because that's their first impression. Then they'll be looking at your skills and your experience and how, whether you've got the transferable skills, even if it's not the right fit, can they kind of look at you and go, yep, we can adapt that to this, and that wasn't really essential in the job description, but they've got this. So they'll be looking at that. And then if you guys can kind of go past all those three, then they'll be looking at your communication. So your CV and your cover letter are the phone interviews, and the video interviewing and all the rest of it. So guys, I'm just going to have a look if there's any more. There's no more questions there, and there's not really any other questions that came up today. So guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Please reach out to me, and I'll send a link for this replay across. I know there's a few people here from KBS and from KBS here, so I will send out the link to the careers advisors for them to forward on to their students. And to everyone else, please either leave your details below or I'll reach out to you so I can send you through my Resume Advantage template. And then once the courses are live, got some value out of this. And I look forward to speaking to all of you very, very soon. Thanks so much, guys. Take care.